So Pal World. It's kind of interesting that everybody keeps comparing it to Pokemon, which I mean, it's very similar to Pokemon because you catch monsters and tame them, and you catch them in balls basically. But this article from Kotaku is about to talk about Pokemon Day, which I didn't even know was a thing, and it is February 27th, and it's saying that they really need to come out swinging and not missing. And I completely agree. There is a lot of things that Pokemon needs to do right, especially coming up. And yeah, so we're going to talk about more of those points in this article, and we'll just talk about some points. Anyways, let's get into this article from Kotaku. Don't forget, guys, smash that like button. Comment down below. How do you feel about the comparison between Power World and Pokemon? Because they keep doing it. It's Pokemon with guns. And I don't really feel that way. I think it's more like Arc. Anyways, let's get into it. After Power World, Pokemon needs to come out swinging. The next Pokemon Presents showcase will set the tone for the series after Power World's success, which I completely agree. The annual Pokemon Day showcase takes place Tuesday, February 27th, in celebration of the series' anniversary, which is where the Pokemon Company typically announces its big game. Okay? You got my attention? And offers updates on its various live service projects. It's usually an exciting day, and it probably still will be, but it's impossible to deny that there's a cloud hanging over it for the past few years, after some rough releases and questionable business decisions. Now, with heavy Pokemon-inspired Power World amassing 25 million players in just a few short weeks, there's a new expectation for the King of Monster Taming franchise. I completely agree. They got to step it up. To be clear, Power World, despite its success, is not a threat to the culture-catching Pokemon as accumulated over 27 years. Pocket Pair's survival game, copying several Pokemon designs from its own monsters, the two are very different video games. Like I said, I think Power World is much, much, much more like Ark Survival than it is like Pokemon. The only similarity I would say that it has is the fact that you got to weaken the monsters and then throw balls at them to catch them. In my opinion, that is basically where the comparison of Pokemon really stops. Power World isn't a competitive RPG with an established community. It's not the merchant phenomenon that prompted scalpers to basically raid a museum to get a rare trading card. And let me tell you, if Power World did do trading cards, I would probably buy some booster packs and try my hands at getting some shiny cardboard. That's all I gotta say, you guys. But Power World is still a monster taming game that doesn't run sub 30 frames a second and bug out all the time on the regular like Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, Scarlet and Violet was rough, especially in the beginning. I haven't played it in months now, but it was rough when it came to bugging out, when it came to graphics, when it came to textures and all kinds of stuff. It just looked terrible. So some fans who are fed up with the developer Game Freak underdeveloping as a Pokemon makes its transition to an open world RPG feels that it's arbiter of Pokemon's eventual downfall, which I completely agree. The problem with Game Freak is that they're too comfortable. They don't really have many people that are in the market like them. And on top of that, the other thing that Pokemon has is, like it said, it's got the time under its belt. It's got the massive amount of fan base. I feel like they're just comfortable. They know that if they're going to peddle a game and they're like marketing it as a mainline game, or a DLC for the mainline game like they have, it's going to sell, regardless of whether it's polished or it's a turd. Because nowadays, people are looking at it like, okay, we messed up this game, but guess what? We can patch it and patch it and patch it until it eventually works. And that's why I feel like a lot of the times, there are very small like catches where I'll be like, okay, but there are times where I'm telling people, don't spend your money, save your money, don't waste. Perfect example would be Skull and Bones. terrible game, just god awful. Like, and it just they rushed it out. Why? Because they had to. They got into a bed with the government and they had to release the game. What do we expect at the Pokemon Presents? Rumors of a chibi-style Pokemon Black and White remake are circulating, but there are also hopes for a new open-world Legends game or a Johto-based Let's Go entry as well. I'm just going to put this out here. It does talk about how bad Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is. And Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are terrible. They're terrible. I was playing them on stream and I stopped playing them on stream because it was so, like, I was having so many, like, just, and like the movement in that game, there was all kinds of stuff where it's like, man, this is bad. I would welcome a Let's Go game. Now, would I like it? Probably not, because like it says right here, a new Let's Go game might scale back and more polished experience, but the games are divisive as they create more. They are catered more towards casual Pokemon Go community and shun those who are more of a hardcore experience. 100% true. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They're fun. They're nostalgic, but that was another one I did not finish. I don't care for those games that are like catered towards the casual and they don't make you think. You could just sit there like and do this all day. I mean, I'd end up probably playing it potentially. I'd have to look at all the reviews and everything. But the one thing I would be really receptive to would be a new Legends game. Pokemon Legends Arceus is an amazing game. If you haven't played it, like, you are missing out. It's one of those games where, yeah, it doesn't have the multiplayer like Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, there's no trading. Yeah, there's no battling. But the story is amazing. The open world feel amazing. They did so many things right with Legends. Just for Scarlet and Violet 8 months later to come out and take like 20 steps back, bro. It was so disappointing. And I genuinely feel this game, Legends of Arceus, was what I was expecting Scarlet and Violet to be. And it ended up not that way at all. I have my own grievances with the Pokemon Company, mainly because everything released lately feels like a proof of concept. Even Scarlet and Violet's DLC was like Game Freak testing the waters for a better game. I didn't even buy the DLC for Scarlet and Violet because I was that disappointed with it. Now, my buddy Gunn, Shattergun, he was like, dude, I highly recommend the DLC. And I just was like, nah, dude, I can't justify going and spending that kind of money when Scarlet and Violet, the base game, was so unfinished. The Switch has been a Pokemon unmet potential era, with each game introducing new ideas that often shortchanged by technical issues and lack of polish. The only game that I do not agree falls under that would be Legends of Arceus. But at the same token, Legends of Arceus didn't have trading, didn't have multiplayer, didn't have any of that stuff. So, obviously, with those things removed, it's a much easier game to probably develop because then you're completely removing the ability for online play. And then there's less you got to do. No matter what the Pokemon Company shows next week, I can already see the tweets of side-by-side comparisons to Palworld showcasing a game that looks better. 100% agreed. And on top of that, Pocket Pair probably has a fraction of the people working for it compared to Game Freak. Welcome to Expo Share, Kotaku's Pokemon column, in which we dive deep into that. No. The Pokemon community is consistently divided on what they want next. So it's unlikely that whatever the company shows on February 27th will satisfy everyone. The open world adverse player in me would love to see them scale back and prioritize polishing and quality over scale. But that would be like being considered a revision to most players. So I'd be happy with a Pokemon game that can run properly and look good in motion, which I completely agree. There are Scarlet and Violet, like I said, there's so many. It's fun, but the amount of bugs and the amount of unpolished is what hurts it. And like I said, that's why I played it for about a month, month and a half, and I was like, I'm done with this. Sure, that's a low bar to set, but Pokemon shows that it's learning from Scarlet and Violet's mistakes, which give longtime fans signs they are being heard, which I highly doubt. I highly doubt because when it comes to the Pokemon Company, they're going to do what they do. They don't really listen to its community. They just do whatever they want, and they're like, have at it, and just wish us luck. Let's keep going. Whether you like Palworld or not, the game has become new ammunition for detractors. It represents the ideological notion that Pokemon-esque games can be made while avoiding technical hurdles and without the backing of most profitable franchise in the world. While the company may want to celebrate how far it's come in the anniversary of Pokemon Red and Green, to some Pokemon Day is just a reflection on how far it's fallen. Yeah, like and guys, I just want you to know, I have played every generation of Pokemon. And I was 8 years old when I started playing, 8 or 9. I think I was 8 when I started playing Pokemon Red. And I have my cartridge back there with my original Game Boy. The comparison on how good Pokemon Red was compared to Scarlet, and I think it's kind of funny because Scarlet is a shade of red, and I got both of them, is ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, people will say Pokemon Red had its issues, which I completely agree. Pokemon Red definitely did have its issues. But during that time and the capabilities that the Game Boy offered compared to the Nintendo Switch, it's day and night. And Pokemon Red definitely utilized every bit of the Game Boy in order to do what it does. And it's crazy how, yeah. Palworld has almost as many players as the last few Pokemon games have sold on the Switch. And while it isn't making as much money as a franchise, those numbers aren't meaningless. Some are playing Palworld because it's on a system they own. But others are looking for anything that can capture the magic the way Pokemon once did. Damn, thinking about that, that is a good point. Because Palworld is a ton of fun, but like I said, I compare it more to Arc than Pokemon. The only comparison I can really draw is the fact that you catch monsters in balls. Whatever the Pokemon Company has in the pipeline was in development long before Palworld blew up, but it will still be judged as the Pokemon game that comes directly after the success of a new major competitor. What are you going to do, Pokemon Company? The next game may underwhelm, or it may be exactly what some fans want. But whatever happens on Tuesday, we'll get a glimpse into the next chapter of Pokemon's trajectory. It's never been more crucial for the Pokemon Company to deliver something special. Damn. That right there. Give us a Legends game where we can battle and we can trade, and it runs as amazing as Legends of Arceus. Bro, you do that, you might be able to combat Palworld. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That is an article from Kotaku. I'll keep it down in the description down below. Don't forget to join the Discord where you can actually reach out, communicate with me and the homies that we stream with every day almost. Yeah, how do you feel about this? Do you think Pokemon might be dethroned by homie in the background here? Or do you think that potentially they no matter what they do, they're still going to sell the games and they're never going to be dethroned? Let me know down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Y'all are wonderful. You guys are amazing. We're on our way to 8,000 subscribers. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working, man. You guys are awesome. And I'll catch you later.